I'm with Mark O'Hara, director of Coral Reef Club on Barbados' west coast, and also the Sandpiper, who's going to fill me in with details of their plans for Settlers Beach, which is a property that they've become involved with earlier this year and hope to finalise their involvement with in hopefully any day now. Mark, can you tell us really, first of all, a little bit of background in terms of how the property became in your family in the first place, and then how you've become involved with it again this year?
Settlers Beach was first built by my father and his partner in the 60s, and we let it go as a management company in the 80s, and we came about this. A couple of friends approached about development or developing Settlers Beach. And being next to Sandpiper, we got a little concerned with the type of development and the volume. So we put in a counter bid, and the owners, who a lot of them previously knew our family, voted us in. So we're just about to complete a long winded purchase of the property, and in the short term we're going to be we already have actually put a lot of finances into the property to bring her back up with all the TLC that it needed to run it as a villa hotel presently. And but we are planning a redevelopment of it, and by the time we get planning permission, we're looking at still a couple of years. But in terms of a quality 12 unit 4-bedroom townhouse style of property, which we will sell to owners and then manage them and let them if they wish us to. But it's a beautiful site right on the west coast, just next to Whole Town.
So how different will this be from the existing properties? I mean, it is quite a departure, isn't it, in that it's not going to be a pure hotel?
Yes, the two properties, obviously Coral Reef and Sandpiper, are purely hotels. Settlers was always a villa-style hotel. We're just revamping it really and making it sort of slightly larger units. And in the same way that they are owned now, they will be owned by new owners, but in larger sort of slightly more contemporary, perhaps slightly more modern, but for a family unit right on the west coast. So it's a lovely property, and we're literally going to protect the use of the land and hopefully end up with a nice development for Whole Town.
And I gather it's going to be 12 4-bedroom townhouses, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
And can you give us an idea of the scale of the timing? Because, I mean, you mentioned obviously you're going to have to put in planning, and then there'll be the development time. Can you just sort of talk us through that briefly?
Yeah, town and country planning can take up to a year, even perhaps a year and a half. So realistically, we're looking at 2014 even to be able to consider starting. We will be trying to obviously promote the plans on pre-sale terms, but we don't envisage the project being finished until 2015 really as a target. But if we get planning permission before that, I mean, we're not putting up anything that is staggering or should be anything, you know, sort of horrific for planning. So that's our sort of a feeling of timing. But if we get planning earlier on, we'll certainly be you know, angling the project for an earlier start than that.
And as things currently stand, the property remains open and will run as previously until you do get planning and then push ahead with the development. And what about the name? Will the name stay?
The name has always been a lovely name for a property, a villa property, but there are some, being a family, there are some ideas that perhaps we may consider a change, but we'll have to see on that. We're not sure.
And will it reflect a completely different character of a property, what you're replacing it with? Will it be that much more contemporary? Will it be very different to the Settlers Beach now?
We're looking at a slightly more modern look, but with a sort of contemporary beach house style. perhaps sort of New England, beach house style. There will be pool and facilities there as an independent residence. But being on the West Coast, I mean, everything. We've got 2 hotels sort of almost flanking it, so we've got lots of. I wouldn't say that we would have our facilities open to them, but we would make all the setup there for anything that the families wanted to do concerning water sports or their holiday requirements.
And as a family business, does this mark a new departure for the O'Haras? Do you see yourselves going into other similar developments?
I mean, this is the last thing we wanted to do in a recession, to be honest. But when you sort of face with certain aspects of what it could do to your business and how it could affect, say, Sandpiper, it's important for us to really drive that and protect it. As a departure, I think certainly we're slightly reinventing what the family did in the beginning, but in a newer sort of better style, let's say. I don't think there's anything further on the horizon this is going to make us sort of want to go into development projects as such. We find that our time is taken up tremendously anyway by the 2 hotels that we personally run.
Okay, all right, that's great. Mark, thank you very much for your time.